There are no mistakes, meaning
Right.
you have to live your life and experience your life exactly the way you do in order to be the person that you're going to be today. And that's going to shape who you're going to be in the next 10 minutes and tomorrow.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to our Journaling Masterclass. This is episode 220 of the SupersetYourLife.com podcast, your weekly workout motivation to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym. On Mondays, we get our minds right for a big week, and on Fridays, you never really know what you're going to get. So Ingrid Duebbert is a close friend and a client from Houston, Texas. She is an Angel Competition Bikini Model, a competitive natural bodybuilder in the bikini category. She is also a retired dentist and motivational speaker. Check out episode 172 of our show, where we recorded right after her competition at the Open Natural in July 2023, having placed first and third in her categories. Fun times. It's called Encourage One Another and Build Each Other Up. If you need some encouragement, plug that one in, and I promise that you will find it there. Welcome back to the show, Ingrid. May we pray before we jump in?
Absolutely.
All right. So Romans 12:21 says, "Do not be conquered by evil, but conquer evil with good." Heavenly Father, wonderful counselor, Ingrid and I both find Paul's command here to be easier with our regular writing practices. I pray for your presence during this conversation, that our words may communicate practical tips for our listeners, that we may all learn and grow together in our creativity, our spiritual health, and if possible, maybe even our muscles. But most importantly, the spiritual health part of it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ingrid, so how do you define journaling, and why do you do it?
Okay, so as we touched on briefly prior to your recording, I believe that the word journal and the word diary are not the same. To journal, when you use it as a verb, is not the same as keeping a diary. I mean, a diary to me it can be useful. I'm sure that a lot of kids do that, and I'm sure people, older people do it too. To me, that's just a chronicling of events that occur in your life, possibly on a daily or a weekly basis. A journal to me is not just writing down the specific events, but trying to discern your feelings about it and how it's going to shape you into the future. That's my thought on journaling. I've done journaling for about 20 years now. I had a huge emotional upset 20 years ago. I got divorced, and I was conflicted about the whole thing. I knew that separating myself legally from this person was the right thing to do, and we had gone to counseling twice, two separate entire, rounds of counseling. It wasn't just two separate occasions. And when we were given homework, I actually did the homework. I'm not saying that I was perfect, because I wasn't, but when it was all said and done, I wanted to figure out what happened, where things were started to go awry, and how I could avoid that in the future in other relationships. So that's the reason I started to journal. And it's kind of grown on itself. I journal I think all of us, we have an accounting of our workouts, which is a type of journaling also. So, like
Amen to that.
how many sets we do, how heavy we're lifting, how many minutes of cardio we're doing, all that sort of stuff. And that is very useful in that we can see, okay, I did this the last time I worked legs. We're going to go ahead and do 10% better, 10% greater. So we can go ahead and add weights on there. We're not, my dog is barking. We are not doing the same thing again, because of course we always wanted to grow. And that's the same thing with emotional journaling, which is what I call what I do. I try to make sense of things that are happening in my life. So, and I write reams, and I don't type it. I actually write it down. So I get these little books I'm going to show you what it looks like. But the reason I get them is because it's got the spiral bound so that you can write on all the pages. This is a blank one.
Love it. Audio
So,
only listeners, you're going to have to use your imagination or switch over to our YouTube channel, Skullbellz TV.
okay, yeah. So I'm just saying I use these and I got them at Ross Dress for Less, probably for $1 a piece. So I don't really care what's on the outside of them. These just happen to have flowers on them. But you can
where were you when I paid $40 for this one at Barnes and Noble? Hey,
yeah, no,
I'm happy with them. This one is dope, but $40 for
right,
a journal.
exactly. And I've got other I've got this one, which is a pad folio. You know, this is where I write down all of my financial journaling, you know, and stuff like that. So
is that from Office Depot?
Actually, no, it's got my name embossed on it. I got this from the Dental Society.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not sure where they got this, but it's really pretty cool. You know, this is the interior of it. It has on this side, you can put the legal pad, and on this side are some folders, and I've got other stuff in there.
Awesome.
But I'm sure that you can get that at Office Depot. I tell you what, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, all of those off-brand stores, they have a little section for stationery. You can find all sorts of stuff there. So I like these because they lay flat and you can write on both sides and it doesn't cramp your hand. As far as pens go, okay, I remember you making the introduction yesterday. We're going to talk about pens. I'm very particular about what I write with. It has got to be a medium point blue, and it's my Mont Blanc pen that I got engraved when I graduated from dental school all those years ago.
That's so cool.
So I got this pen and I need to use it because I don't write checks anymore, like at the grocery store or anything like that, because this pen used to be in my purse. So now it is downstairs in the kitchen because I do most of my journaling right here in my family room at about 9:30 or so every night, you know, maybe not every night, but most nights of the week. And I just write until I don't have anything else left to write. Yeah. So sometimes that's 10 minutes and other times it's like, oh my gosh, it's 11:30 and I still have something that I need. You know, I'm on a roll, you know, I think I've got this figured out. I use this.
I've always been the exact same way too. Like right before bed, that's always when I'm the most creative too.
Right. And I feel that I'm creative and I can let the rest of the stress of the day go.
Yeah.
And this is a way for me to do that.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm very particular. And this is the only pen that I use in my checkbook register also. Who knew? Mont Blanc. So, but anything, I prefer pen as opposed to pencil because pencil smudges too badly for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. But if you want to start this, if a person wants to start this, whatever you want. And if you want to do it online, that's, I guess, is okay too. But I think that penmanship and writing it's becoming a lost art. So, you know, they don't even teach cursive in school anymore. They say, why do we need to teach this?
Because we all learn it. We all hate it when we're learning it, and then we all go back to just printing, and then we kind of never go back. But no, I'm with you. I've gone back to cursive, and that especially if you can write legibly, and if you're writing a lot, you save so much time. It is way faster.
Right. So this is a card that I actually made, and it's a thank you card to my sister, and this is my writing.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Well, I did go to Catholic school, and in 3rd grade, you know, Mrs. Marco, we were doing penmanship, you know, it's when we learned to write cursive handwriting. Yeah, I got in trouble a lot. But one thing I have to say is that my writing is very legible. I mean, and then when I was in dental school, we got the admonition from the guy who was teaching us pharmacology on how to write prescriptions. I printed all the prescriptions because I didn't want anybody, you know, like the pharmacist to misread anything that I wrote and give a patient of mine the wrong drug. So everything was printed, and it was printed like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when
So,
you so when you write in cursive, is it exactly the way that like we're taught to do it in school, or do you have your own twist on it? Is it kind of like your own language?
well, it's like the T's and some of the letters, like S is like a printed S,
Okay.
and T is just a printed T, because I don't like though having to do all that mess. But I write now that I'm getting a little older, and my vision is, it's still great, but I'm writing a little bigger.
Yeah.
So the letters are a little larger, but it's good for me because I can read it, but I'm assured that everybody else can be reading it too.
Do you are there any cursive letters where you're just like, that's a dumb cursive letter? Why don't we just like why do they have to change it like that? Like the Q, like
Or W.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the
Like,
letter that I
do you
just
have any
addressed to my.
like do you have any exceptions, or are you like 100% sold out to cursive over printing?
No, I do both.
Okay.
I print the addresses, like this is to my best friend.
Yeah.
There we go. But the inside is all cursive because it's faster.
Yeah. And
It's faster.
it makes if you can write legible cursive too, especially for like, do you do gratitude journaling? Like, do you write what you're like what you're grateful for, the way that like pretty much every podcast says that you're supposed to?
What I'll do is, in the body of what I'm writing, I will, or I'll start with, the best thing that happened to me was, and then write down what was the best thing was. Or I am so thankful that, I get to communicate with my brother on a daily basis, or something like, so it's kind of a mishmash, so to speak. I don't just I only have one journal. I'm not going to, well, that's a lie. I've got two. Got the one for me and then the one for training. But other than that, no, it all gets kind of like mixed up together in one of these. But no,
Right.
I don't have a special or a separate gratitude journal.
Yeah, I was kind of curious because it's something that a lot of that a lot of people teach, but personally, I haven't really found a lot of uh, super effective application for it personally, because I'm big into thank you cards, and
Oh yeah, me too.
that's something that my grandpa taught me, and that's something that I think is kind of a lost art too. Is actually not sending a text message, but an actual handwritten note,
Hmm.
send it to their address and everything, and then making it a practice to do that, as long as like my birthday and Christmas are 6 months apart, right? So it's like plenty of time to do. So I just make a note. So I just make a note of who I need to write a thank you card for, or whatever. Um,
Right.
and if I write it down, then I feel like I'm doubling up, because then like I feel better because you're still going through the practice of writing something that you're grateful towards. But I feel like I'm killing two birds with one stone with it. But what I've found is that if you can write in cursive, and if you can write in legible cursive, that's just something that people aren't used to seeing, and they really appreciate it. And it looks more personal, because your personality comes out when your personality and your creativity comes out when you write in cursive.
Right.
And
When you write.
if you print, it's just not the same.
Correct. And so both of these that I showed you, these examples, these are both thank you notes for Christmas gifts.
Hmm.
So I'm with you. I really, my mom taught us, the five of us, that when we received a gift, especially from the relatives, that it was expected that we were going to write a thank you note, even when we were very young, 5, 6 years old. And
Yeah.
we didn't know how to write cursive at that time. We just printed something and mom would put it in with a letter that she would send. You have to understand, this was back in the 60s, and there was no, you could call, but that was highly expensive because my relatives all lived on a different continent. They all live in Europe. So there was a lot flurry of letters that went backwards and forwards all the time. So now you're right. I think that letter writing is, along with journaling, along with thank you notes, I think it's becoming a lost art because we have the internet and everything can be done almost instantaneously on there. However, I know that my sister and my best friend are going to love these, that I took the time, the 15 minutes. Well, for Victoria, a little longer because I actually made her card. But, that I took the time to make something and to write on it with my own hand, and it's going to grace their mailbox and it's going to be a surprise for them. I love getting handwritten notes,
Oh yeah.
or anything, or even if it's a computer generated card, that's been personalized by the person. I like that too. I mean, that counts. It all counts.
Yeah.
So, I think that, I know we're kind of straying a bit, but I think that as a society, we're getting away from the niceties, so to speak. And we're just saying, well, if I post on Facebook or I put up a group Christmas card on Facebook or put a group thank you on whatever social media platform, that's good enough. I'm not saying that it's not appreciated, but I think that a handwritten note or a thank you card is way more appreciated because people are busy these days, and it took 10 minutes or 15 minutes out of your time in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
And the same thing with,
whenever you get a handwritten note, it's always on a day where you really need it to,
exactly.
It's the day where you just woke up depressed for no reason, and like, oh, like, wow, a handwritten note. Yeah.
Correct. And the same thing with journaling. Can you journal online? Yes. There is a danger in that, though. What would happen if the internet goes down, or what happens if your computer crashes and you haven't backed up because it's only your journal?
Bingo.
What happens then? You've lost it forever. And so this way, I have it forever. And if I need to go, it's really saved my ass on a few occasions, so here I was, writing about the demise of my marriage. And I said, oh, I think that if I had done this maybe a little differently, these next things wouldn't have happened. And as I got into other relationships, it kind of saved my butt on a few occasions, like, oh my God, I see myself falling into the same thing. And I would pull out, like volume 6 and go, I say, I know I wrote it in this, and go back and say, oh yeah. So it's a learning experience too. It's an educational experience. How about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. My mom always taught me that you can't really forget anything. You just forget where you put that information. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I think I've told you this before. My brain, I feel, is nothing more than a series of filing cabinets, filing
That's
drawers.
exactly what it is. Yes.
And some of them are open and close easily. I can retrieve that information very easily. Some of them are a little stuck, but I can get them open. And others of them, I swear to God, Colt, they're rusted shut. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to open you up.
It's like squeaky when you open it.
Absolutely. I'm like, oh, I need to get the WD-40 for this one, So I think that is probably a correct statement, that all of the things that we have learned in our lifetimes, it's still here. It's just, it's not as easily accessible as we would like for it to be. And it's true of everything. It's like what you don't use on a daily basis or a weekly basis or whatever. It's not that you lose it. It's just that it's harder to retrieve.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you and my wife both have wonderfully organized filing cabinets. For me, mine are pretty organized too, but the files need to be extremely far apart from each other.
Oh, okay.
And there's one or two filing cabinets that are loaded, and then the rest of the filing cabinets for me, forget about it. You want me to fix something on a musical instrument? I can fix it.
I'll open up the drawer and go, I wonder what the hell was in here.
Yeah. My wife has a lot more filing cabinets than I do too.
Oh, well, that's what happens when
for me, there's like how to change a flat tire. See, like for me, it doesn't exist in my filing cabinet. That's the kind of stuff that my wife has like all kinds of files for. Yeah.
For me, it's all sorts of things. It's I think that's the difference between being in your 60s as opposed to being in your 30s. You got 30 years of life experience. You got 30 more years of filing cabinets and filing drawers and filing folders than the person who's in the 30s. They will get there. It's just, it takes some life, though. It just takes life.
Yeah. Do you what are some tips that you have to go find that information, to go back and find it quickly? I've been dating everything, and I started doing that like a little over a year ago, because just the journal that I had it had an empty spot for a date at the top of every page, and I thought it was annoying, and so I started doing it, and then after a couple months after I'd finished that journal, I went back to it because all my business meetings are in there. All my podcasts are in there. I just got out of a meeting with my son, and so like everything that we're talking about with like how he's doing in school and everything, like it's all written down. All of our newest ideas, like ways that we can kind of help him grow and learn faster. But going back and finding that information,
Right.
now I've been dating everything since. I mean, over the top. I mean, everything that I'm writing down in anything, I don't care if it's a journal or a Bible or whatever, putting a date next to it, that makes it so easy to go back and find where it was.
I think so too. So not only do I date, but there's a title page at the front, or I make several like title pages at the front of my journal. And so I'll put the date down, and then sometimes it's only a word or two, like and I always do this after I'm finished writing also. So I'll put the date down and then go to the page that I'm going to be starting writing, write my stuff down. And then when I'm finished, I go back to what I call the title page, and I write a word or two about what was I thinking about today? What information is there that I thought was salient and enough for me to actually write about it.
I love it.
2 words. So it's I won't call it a title, but at least it spurs my memory, and I think, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about that day, or that's what was on my mind that day. And like I said, Colt, sometimes I don't journal every single day. It's not, except for training. Every time I train, I'll go ahead and document that. But my life, sometimes it's not an everyday sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Question for you. A really annoying question, because I hate it when this happens, and I wonder if you ever run into the same problem. Okay. So you're journaling and you're on a specific topic. It could be creative writing. It could be whatever it is that you're journaling about. Okay. And then you move on with your life. The next day you're journaling about something else. Then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I either have a new idea, or there's something that I definitely forgot that needed to be added to that first topic. So do you start a new title page, or like, what's your workaround for that?
No. So what I'll do is, let's say that, let's go talk about creative writing.
That's when loose leaf comes in handy too. But I'm with you.
Right. I'll go and I'll write I'll be very creative, and I'll be writing, and then I will pick up, a couple of days later, something else, piqued my interest, or I feel that I have to untangle that, and I'm like, but oh my God, oh my goodness, but I forgot, or not forgot mainly, but I just thought of how all of this could tie in together. And so I will write a note that day, and I'll say, okay, I was talking, going back to blah, blah, blah. Don't you think that these two things mesh together well, or whatever,
Right.
So, and it's just a continuation. So it's almost like, you're improving on what you're already been writing about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I do that a lot. Hang on, hey, no, sorry. We've only been together for 4 weeks.
No problem. You're still on the show, Paris. I love it.
So yeah.
Do you ever have a point where you're writing and you're like, oh, this is the best idea ever? Why didn't I think of this before? This is such a good idea.
Oh God, yes.
And you write it all down, and you look at it and you're like, yeah, I didn't realize how stupid that was until I actually put it on paper. No, what was I thinking?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I've done that before too. I'll write. I'm going, and I'm going to town, it's like I'm writing an essay, and
Yeah.
then I'll finish and I'll go back and look at it, next day or several days later. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
This is absolute crap,
But
because you
never
forgot about
but you
whatever,
never
you forgot about this basic tenet here. So,
right.
yeah, some things that I write make absolutely no sense whatsoever when I read back over it. And other things, it's like, oh my God, it's like the light bulb moment. I'm like, oh yeah. So that's the reason that had to play out this way.
Wow.
So, I really believe that
What do
nothing.
you do with those dumb ideas? Do you save them because, or do you just throw them away? Do you burn them because you never want to think about it again?
No. I mean, I had to have found something worthwhile in it. And my thought is that there are no mistakes, meaning
Right.
you have to live your life and experience your life exactly the way you do in order to be the person that you're going to be today. And that's going to shape who you're going to be in the next 10 minutes
That's right.
and tomorrow. So no, it may have been a dumb idea. And yeah, I've come up with plenty of those, believe me. But but at least you can read that and say, yeah, that wasn't all that great, but this is the way I would do it now. I would do it differently, or I forgot about this one big fact, and when I add this in, it's all full of shit, but I can go ahead and do something better over that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. My math teacher taught me to when you're writing out math, like if you're doing long division or whatever, and you make a mistake and you basically just like wasted all your time. She goes, never erase it. Always cross it out.
Just cross it out.
And then
right.
write oops and then just keep going, because you'll be amazed at how many ideas you can get out of that, or how half the time like you were actually on the right track, you went off of it halfway through. And so instead of throwing it all away, take what keep it there so you can go back and refer to it and pull what you can from it.
Oh, absolutely. That's how I think we had the same math teacher, because that's how we were taught too, especially like as you got into the higher math, if you would get to the end and you say, yeah, no, this answer is completely wrong. Just put a line through it, go back to where it all went wrong, cross that out.
Yeah.
And go on from there, because what did you do? You learned from what you did wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not saying
same thing with music too. You're writing lyrics or you're writing sheet music or something, and you write something that doesn't come out the way that you wanted to. Save it. There's something there that was a gem. That's your creativity. That's your intellectual property.
Absolutely. And to me, keeping a journal on whatever subject you keep it on is nothing more than an exercise in creativity.
100%. It is
right.
It is artwork. It's just like every time you pick up a musical instrument, you're practicing your chords, you're practicing your scale. Yeah, that's all true, but don't think about it mathematically like that. You're playing music and you're creating art. When we're working on a posing routine as bodybuilders, right? It's the same thing. You're not just practicing your poses. You're not just doing isometric work so you can get better at the exercise. You are making art. You are doing something creative every time you flex your muscles and when you hold those poses. It's the same thing.
Right. Exactly. So it's a to me, I think it's a creative way, or a novel way of looking at your writing, because it's not like we're writing a novel. It's not like we're writing a treatise or a thesis or anything like that. It's really for our own edification. It's something quite personal, as a matter of fact. I don't really share, like excerpts from my journals with anybody, but it's quite personal, but it's an exercise in creativity and learning. So I know that both of us are lifelong learners, and this is just a different way that we can learn. And you're right, as far as being art, it's a different kind of art. I never really considered it that way, but yeah, it is. To me, it's an outlet for a different kind of creativity. I cannot draw worth a damn. I mean, I really cannot. I can do stick people, but that's pretty much it. But I feel that I'm a creative, artistic person, that I have different avenues in which to express myself. One of them is through the journaling, and the other is through my cards, you know, making the cards, doing the calligraphy. I love to sew. I repurpose old fabric or vintage fabrics into something brand new. You know, I love to knit. So I think I'm a creative person and artistic. It's just that I can't draw. I do have an appreciation for drawing, but, you know, like go to museums. I love to do that, but I can't do any of that myself.
Yeah.
Just can't. So, yeah.
I-
And music.
I think that when you write in your journal too, you're very aware of the fact that you're probably never going to share it with anybody, and so it doesn't feel like
Absolutely.
somebody's looking over your head. But going back to what we were talking about, writing versus typing, and how it is not the same at all.
No.
If you're typing something, you're whatever it is that you're typing, you're probably going to share it with somebody. Like that's probably why you're using an electronic device in the first place. And so just the fact that like you really can't, you know, like if it's in your spiral journal, it's like nobody else is probably ever going to read
Yeah,
it.
no one's ever going to
Exactly.
look at it. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It gives you so much freedom, and I think that really helps cultivate that creativity.
Correct. I have to agree with you. But like I said, these are, unless I throw them away, they are forever. And there's no power outage. There's no computer crash. There's no internet stoppage that is going to affect these. So, and that's the risk that you would run if you want to do it online.
Right.
There's nothing the matter with it. Believe me. I don't, if you want to start
And I don't
doing
know,
it
like
that way, that's great.
right, and you'll probably have like you'll probably still get like 90% of your creativity out, but like I don't know, what if like what if 10% of it? What if that's the idea that you're a comedian and that was the joke that put you that put you on Netflix,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And
Maybe that was the financial strategy that made you a millionaire. You know?
and the other thing is that I am not a child of technology. So you know, there was no internet until like the early 2000s. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't have a cell phone until like I think 1996 or 1997, and they were pretty brand new back then. You know, the like the flip phone or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I said, I am not a child of technology. So do I use the computer? Do I use the internet? Oh hell yeah! But I still, you know, I make lists. I write them down. It's not that I type them and then print them out. I write them down, and it gives me intense satisfaction for my lists that I can go ahead and mark them off, you know, as I complete, you know, tasks.
Yeah, and there
So
is
yeah,
nothing more annoying than when you write a checkbox, which means that you need to check that box, and then like 2 or 3 days go by, and you're like, "Crap, I still haven't gotten around to checking that box yet."
I
Like, it just
know.
makes me go crazy until I check it.
Right. Right. And that's a whole other podcast there about accountability and all that sort of stuff,
Okay.
and giving yourself too much to do, and you know, in a 24-hour period and all that sort of stuff. You know, I've learned, you know, that
Wait,
there
yeah,
are
yeah,
only
yeah. We should go record a podcast on that. Oh wait, no, that just like proves your point even more.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
I'm 100% the same way.
So like I said, it gives me intense satisfaction to cross something off my list. So and all those are handwritten too, you know, and I write little notes to myself, not because I'm going to forget, but like I broke a drawer in my refrigerator, so I had to write down the model number. I can't remember that, so it's written down there. So but yeah, I write stuff all the time, like,
Yeah.
because I am not a child of technology, because I figure, I know that you can write notes in your phone. I have no idea how to do that. None. And guess what? I don't want to learn either.
Yeah, you don't have to. It was, and then
I
you know,
think pencil and paper are just fine.
and you know what, like even for people that love technology, right, and for people that are great with it, it's like the annoying thing is it changes all the time. So it's like, yeah,
Oh, I know.
because like I'm using Google Documents and Google Excel spreadsheets for like basically everything, right? Like,
Mhm.
because then it's like I'm at the gym and I have an idea and something I want to talk about on my podcast, right? Okay, what do? Open up my phone, bam, it either goes in there or it goes in my journal, like depending on whatever. But Google Documents is great because then I can just come back home and open up my computer, bam, it's like right here where I left off of it.
Mhm.
Sometimes if it's like a podcast that I'm nervous to host or something, or if like I'm going to be on somebody else's show, then like I can pull up my notes and bam, it's right there.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Mhm.
but that's a system that takes time. And I mean, like, I don't know, 2 years is going to go by and those aren't going to exist. And then everybody's going to be doing something different. um,
Yeah, exactly right.
but
And
decade after decade after decade, if you have journaling is exactly the same.
right.
It's timeless. It'll
And
never change.
paper and pen, they never go out of style. At
Right.
least I don't think they do. I know that probably
The
I
battery
have
never runs out.
yeah, I have a friend. He's the guy who cuts my grass, and
Uh-huh.
he was born in 1996, the year I bought my house. And you know that he does not know how to write a check.
I don't
He
either
does
though.
not know how to
I'm
write a check.
sorry.
Not only that, because of that, he doesn't know how to deposit a check either. So I have to pay him via Zelle. That's the only way, because he doesn't accept, well, I guess he would accept cash, but he doesn't accept checks because he doesn't know what to do with them.
I don't even know
Really?
if we have checks. I think my wife has
Right.
a checkbook.
But I'm just saying, I have to pay I have to pay 2 things per month via check. And he's like, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, how do you not know how to write a check? I mean, I learned how to do that when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, Coach Taylor Milton here. Welcome to Skullbellz TV, the official YouTube channel of supersetyourlife.com, where you're going to discover a weekly upload of quick and easy to follow workout tutorials featuring Coach Colt, myself, or one of our athletes to keep your workouts fun, practical, and effective. Our family's latest keto carnivore recipes that fuel Colt's competitions and keep myself and our kiddos strong and healthy. Video uploads of the supersetyourlife.com podcast, now over 100 episodes. Your weekly dose of entertainment, education, and inspiration to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym, and much more. Last thing before we get into the video, we're asking a big favor from you. This has been working beautifully, so if you would please think of someone you care about that would benefit from this video, go ahead and smash that like button, click the share button, and text this video to them. That would mean the world to us. And while you're at it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss more exciting content from Skullbellz TV, because our team has lots of meat and lots of muscle coming your way, and I promise you won't want to miss it. When you hit the subscribe button, you'll see a bell icon pop up. You want to click that too so you're notified every time we release a new video. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world to us. Every like, share, and subscription helps our channel grow and supports our family's hard work. So thank you so much for doing your part too. That's all we ask. God bless you, and please enjoy this video.
I think that journaling can be beneficial for anyone.
Yeah.
Whatever way you want to do it. I mean, I'm sure that there are people who do voice notes, like record their journal. Okay, that wouldn't work for me because I would run out of phone space, or whatever. But however you want to do it, it's not, to me, keeping a journal.
I know a lot of people that dictate to like a Word document or something. And
Right.
So then you kind of have the best of both worlds. Like I tried doing that and I was like, oh heck no! Like it doesn't doesn't type it out the way I would want it typed out.
Okay. But I think that keeping a journal for whatever reason, whether it be your, oh, hang on. Sorry about that. Please text me. There we go. My sister's calling me. I think that journaling, whatever kind that you want to do, like a personal journal, an athletic journal, a financial journal, gratitude journal, whatever, can be beneficial to you, to any person. You just have to decide what you want to do. It's not a question of, can I not benefit from it? I think it is. How deep do you want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I use my personal journal as a way to kind of work through life's problems or obstacles that have been put in my way, or figure out where I can do things better.
It helps you to get
Or
through the hard times, and it helps you to capitalize on the good times and get the most
absolutely,
out of them.
absolutely. That is
Yeah.
that is a great way to put it. So it's it's kind of like shines a light, when I can sit there and write about something that occurred or will be occurring or whatever, and try to figure out why it's happening, or not only that, but how I can get through to the other side. That's very helpful for me, because I tend to be a person that is more spur of the moment. I will tend to do things first before thinking about it. So, well,
Ready,
and-
fire, aim, as John Maxwell says.
right. And so I don't think about things for a very long time before I make up my mind to either do it or not do it. So this is a way for me to kind of like put the brakes on myself.
Yeah.
Because like I know myself pretty well. So anyway, I think that whatever kind of journal you want to keep, and like I said, I really believe that there's a difference between a diary and a journal. A diary is just a chronicle of your life, of
Right.
what happened to you that day. And to me, a journal is, yes, it's what happened to me, but how am I dealing with it, and how can I avoid a situation, or not just maybe not avoid it, but how can I encourage that situation to happen again?
Yeah.
So it's not all negative. It really isn't. It probably sounds like I do a lot of, it's not negative at all. It's helpful to me. And I think it can be helpful to anybody. And, the financial journal, it keeps me in close, I know exactly how much disposable income I have, and where
Yeah.
my money is going, how the investments are doing and all that sort of stuff. So, and I think most people have some sort of vague knowledge of all of that. I have more than a vague knowledge. So like I said, I've been journaling for a good 20 years now. My dog is eating is eating something she shouldn't.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
parents.
I was gonna say you have your phone on your protein jug, from what I remember. So
Yeah.
she's just trying to hit her macros for the day, right?
Right. And so her little bed is underneath my cocktail table. My cocktail table is a little higher than most, and she easily fits underneath there. So,
Yeah.
because she only weighs 8.2 pounds. So, yeah, she's a little girl. Anyway, I haven't really written too much about the dog in there. I did write a lot about the dog that I recently lost, about Diva.
Yeah.
It's because I really missed the hell out of her. So, and Paris does not replace Diva. She's her own doganality, believe me. But I am loving the company. I really am. I
Yeah.
didn't realize how much I missed having another living being, another mammal in the house with me.
I love it.
Anyway, so I
Sticky.
hope that your listeners, whoever's listening to this, is going to take away some good information, and
Oh, I'm
starting.
sure. I already have. This is my notes in my journal about what you taught me
Oh,
about
wow.
how to journal better.
Wow. So, and I think that,
And you wonder why I had no social life in high school.
yeah, right. So, I think that the way to start journaling is just to start. There's no outline for it. You just start writing. You just start. It's like a free association sort of thing for me.
It's different for everybody. It has to be different for everybody. It's here again. It's another type of art. It is not art if you copy somebody else's music and you play a score of music exactly the way that they did. No, you're a really good copycat. It's the same thing if you're making a posing routine, right? My favorite bodybuilder, of all time is Tom Platz, because of his legs specifically, but he's a different dude with a different body. Like I'll hit the poses exactly the way that he hits them, and I'm like, I don't know. I think my feet need to be angled this way instead. It's not the way that he does it, but I'm not him. And I think with journaling
Absolutely.
too, it's the same thing. Like if
So,
anybody listening copies everything that you just said, it'll get you started in the right direction. But you gotta find what
right,
works, what doesn't work for you. Incorporate your faith into it, whatever. Yeah.
right. And so like I said, I started journaling seriously to help me get through a rough time in my life. And I really would write something every day because I was really conflicted. I was really in a bad place. So and then it became it's saying it's a habit is not a bad thing. Then it was just like, okay, I need to do this before I can go to sleep. It's
Yeah.
helpful for me, and it was part of my routine. So I think
Mhm.
that most humans thrive on a routine, and that routine is different for every single person. I
Yep.
totally agree with you on the posing and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
I have my favorite people or my favorite bikini pros that I like to
Mhm.
look at their posing, and I'm trying to incorporate, the flourishes and all that sort of stuff. I am one of the most stiff people on stage ever. I'm getting better. After doing this for over a
Absolutely.
year now, I'm getting better. I can see improvements. So, but it's every single person, even if you try to copy somebody else, it's still you. It's
Yeah.
still you. It's always going to have your twist on it,
One one of
always.
one of our other clients, she's a wonderful dancer and she does acrobatics, and I mean she's just an incredible athlete all around. But as soon as she put heels on to start practicing with heels, it's just like wow, like I feel like C3PO and like I'm having to learn how to walk all over again. You
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. I know I told you that when I got my posing heels, I did housework in them. I would
Oh,
do the
that's a
vacuuming
great
just to get used
idea.
to wearing heels
Wow.
again. Yeah. So
Oh, wow. I'm gonna have Taylor start doing that. Hey, babe. I'm just kidding.
yeah. So well, so here I am. I live
Because
by
well,
myself, but
I'm actually dead serious. She is so intimidated about the heels, but I'm gonna tell her that. I'm like, I'm like,
oh,
just
and
wear them all the time. I mean, that's what I did to break my hockey skates in. I just wore them around the house.
oh, okay. Yeah. So if she has any questions, have her give me a call, okay? Or
Yeah,
text or something. So anyway, but I practiced wearing the heels by vacuuming in my house. So, and dusting and all that sort of stuff. So did I look like an idiot? Yeah. Did I learn how to walk in them? Yeah.
you didn't look like an idiot. You look like a bikini pro vacuuming your house.
Exactly
Check this
right.
out, everybody.
Anyway, so like I said, I'm hoping that your subscribers are going to find some useful information in here. If they have any questions or they want any kind of clarification on either how to start or what to use or ideas, just have them DM me through Instagram. How about that?
Totally
Okay. It was
wonderful.
great talking to you today, Colt.
Oh, it was wonderful talking with you. Thank you so much. Yeah, everybody definitely go follow Ingrid. She is on Instagram at Jim_diva1. And if you follow her, you're gonna be inspired. You're gonna be inspired to be a better person. You're gonna be inspired to write something. You're gonna be inspired to go to the gym. You're just gonna be inspired. You definitely need to go follow Ingrid.
Thanks. Bye-bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye. Hey, everybody. Coach Colt, thanks a lot for joining us in this one. I'm going to wrap things up, actually. And so, just like Ingrid was talking about, you got to figure out what works best for you. And so, I thought it'd be a good idea to just send everybody off with how I do it. All right. So, there's 4 books that I guess you could classify as journals based on the conversation that we just had. And here they are. Okie dokie. So if you are listening, you're really going to have to use your imagination or, like I said, head over to our YouTube channel. But this is my master journal. So this is what I would say is the most basic journal that I'm using currently. And yeah, this is the systems that we're using here. So anything written in a red pen, these are all client check-ins. These are all anything that I'm doing for social media. Anything with a turquoise pen, that means that it's podcast related. Anything that's in a purple pen, typically that's for the most part faith related. Anything that's written in pencil. I know that we talked about how pencils are usually not cool for journaling because they can get smudged and everything. But anything that I write with music, there's a lot of mistakes that happen and a lot of erasing that needs to be done. Same thing with math. My math teacher always taught us that. She always got pissed off at us whenever we'd be using, whenever we use pens. There were consequences for that. Okay, so that's pretty much all the light bulbs. Those are for new ideas. So then if I want to like go back and quickly reference it, and I knew that it was a fresh idea, I'm just kind of looking for that, and that'll help me locate that information faster. What else? Sticky notes. These are really important. So all of my supersetyourlife.com podcasts, aka this channel, those are all in yellow sticky notes. Church events and Bible studies, those are all in blue sticky notes. Carnivore Coaches Corner podcast, those are all red sticky notes. And then consultations, check-ins, initial meet and greet coaching conversations with somebody. I write all of that down while we're on the phone. So then when I go to write their workout plan, like another month or two later, I still have all that information readily accessible. Anything that, back from my stand-up comedy days, back when I was doing stand-up comedy like all the time, I got into a habit of doing a lot of joke writing, creative writing around that. So still now, if there's anything that's like funny that I want to share on a podcast, or anything that I write, or anything that I write where I'm like, wow, no, I feel like I can actually make a pretty funny story out of this. That's usually stuff that I write down with a blue pen, and then I'll mark it with an orange sticky note. And then yellow sticky notes for social media related stuff. And those are all on the side. Yeah, so the little sticky notes, those are on the side. And then podcast sticky notes and church events, those go on the top. No rhyme or reason, just helps me to sort them out better. And so, and again, guys, this is the system that I've been using for like a little over a year now, and so it's been making it extremely helpful in going back and finding this information when I need it. So that is the Master Journal. Also in here, I write down prayers. Let's see, yeah, like I said, all meetings and phone calls, and then my bookmark for wherever I'm at currently is this clipboard, which is my client clipboard. So every single day, I need to be making sure that every single box is either checked, or if it's been a day or two since that box has not been checked, that brings my attention to it, and it means that that person is someone that either hasn't checked in with me in a day or two, or it's just been a couple days since we talked, and so I better reach out and see how they're doing. Go look over their meal plan and their workout, or whatever I have them doing, making sure they're on track with their goals. So that's the that's the coaching clipboard, aka the bookmark. And then after that, my Carnivore Bible. So yeah, I actually called this thing the Carnivore Bible. It's a gift that I got from my mother-in-law for Christmas, and it's a men's study Bible. I love this thing. If I could go, if I had to go back and like if I knew nothing about the Bible and was going to go back and start all over again from scratch, I'd probably start with this one. Actually, it's a Christian Standard Bible, CSB, which is a beautiful blend of thought for thought translations and word for word translations. So thought for thought are like NIV, your translations that are nice and easy to read. And then your word for word translations, those ones can be like a little more challenging to read, but they're very, very helpful for pinning down specific information if you want to take a deep dive into a chapter. So that was kind of the last few years project for me, is studying the Bible that way. So now I'm focusing a lot more on writing with it and the personal application aspect of it. So this book is a 3-year commitment for me to be tracking everything that I eat and everything that I study in terms of inductive Bible study. So I'm doing 1 chapter a day. That's why it's a 3-year project. So I'm tracking the date, and then everything that I eat during the day, and then my results the next day. Currently, right now, I'm tracking my ketones, my weight, my body weight, and what else? Oh, and my sleep quality with my Oura Ring, because sleep is If I had to go back and start all over again, I wish I would have placed a greater importance on sleep through the beginning of my bodybuilding career and everything. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why I like doing this right before I go to bed too, because it helps me to unwind, it helps me to relax, and it helps me to get my thoughts out, and it helps me to end every single day with something that is very, very peaceful and something that's very, very meditative. And so I've noticed a huge increase in my sleep quality from doing that. And so I decided to start with the book of Ezekiel. The reason is because I am we just had our first session last night leading a online Bible study on the book of Ezekiel. If you would like to be in on that, I would love for you to be a part of the group. Go ahead and contact me anyway. Shoot me an email. Okay, so my commitment is to keep this up for another 3 years. The last time that I did it like basically pretty much just like this, without tracking my food. I was doing that in my master journal before, but tracking it in my Bible has I feel like it's helped me to have a more deeper spiritual appreciation for the food that I'm eating right now. Okay, so that is the Carnivore Bible, and then we were talking about workout logbooks. So here's my workout logbook. Okay, and so just like Ingrid was saying, every single workout we need to see an improvement. In the front of the logbook, these are available on our website too, by the way, supersetyourlife.com. All of our clients have one of these, and so what we do every day is I text them their workout, and they text me their workout. So I'm still trying to lead by example, and I'm making sure that they're staying on track with their goals and that they're making the progress that they need to be making. In the front of this book, I actually have a cheat sheet for seated calf raises and for hoist squat press. The hoist squat press. These are all pieces of equipment at Yellowstone Fitness, the gym that we train at. That if I'm doing quick math and I'm like adding a lot of 45-pound plates together, it's a really helpful quick reference chart. So yeah, here we go. This brings us all the way to my workout yesterday at Yellowstone Fitness, leg day, bam. So I wrote down every single thing that I did. So now next time I go into the gym, I know exactly what my goal is. My primary lift is going to be B stance reverse belt squats, low quarter reps. The B stance on those, my wife actually showed it to me. It helps me to balance forward to backward. The belt squat machine is an awesome leg exercise, but the most challenging thing that I have with it is just the forward to backward balance. So staggering my foot position a little bit was a huge win. And so now I know that I got 270 reps for basically 5 full reps and 5 partial reps on each leg. So now I know that next time I do that, I should just probably shoot for 11 plus 11 reps. Then I make sure that I'm increasing right now because this is my last month of lean bulking before we start cutting for the open natural. All right, and then the last one is actually a planner called the GSD planner, the God-Sized Dreams Planner by Todd Durkin. This thing was, I think it was about like $80 after shipping, and worth every penny. Like this thing is worth hundreds of dollars. It's a journal in the front with writing prompts that gets you thinking about your goals. It gets you it gets you planning your year out. I mean, kind of like my wife and I have read like most of your classic success books over the years. We've read lots of them, and this one is awesome. It's simple. It's a calendar built into it, and so what Taylor and I do is we have a weekly meeting where we review our goals. We share our writings with each other. We visualize, we plan, we pray together over our athletes, over our family, and over our week that we're on. Psalm 90:17 says, "Establish the work of our hands upon us." Yes, establish the work of our hands. That's something that we pray every day, particularly on these meetings, because it's the oldest psalm ever written, actually. Fun fact. Moses wrote 2 of the psalms, I think, and this was one of them. So Psalm 90:17 says, "Establish the work of our hands upon us." Yes, establish the work of our hands.
And that's it, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for this one. We were looking forward to it, had a lot of fun with it, and I really want to know what you thought. So let us know, guys. Shoot me an email, admin@supersetyourlife.com. Leave us a review, whatever. Just tell me what you thought of this one, all right? Really glad that you joined us for it. for it. So one more thing before we sign off. If you are not subscribed to our nutrition podcast, it's called Carnivore Coach's Corner, and you are totally missing out there because we're coming up to close to a year now of recording every single week and haven't missed a week yet. We do not plan on slowing down anytime soon. Mark and I collaborate weekly, diving deep into meat-based nutrition and advanced hypertrophy training, featuring top coaches and top nutritionists from across the globe. So if you are either a fan of the low-carb lifestyle, or if you're just getting into it, you've been around it a while, you've been listening to lots of carnivore podcasts, we go pretty deep on this one, but we also have lots of episodes from time to time that it's like, if you're just getting into it, you can pick right up. We try to keep things simple, we try to keep it fun, and we try to keep it practical too. So just search Carnivore Coach's Corner on the same platform that you are listening to now. Thanks again one more time. We'll catch you Monday on episode 221, where we'll get you pumped up for another big week. So I'm going to leave you right now with our battle cry at supersetyourlife.com, which is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 through 20. Do you not know that your body is a sanctuary of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you are purchased at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body.